The metal corridors of Velthar 9 Station echoed with the clicking footsteps of 3 Chalarian soldiers. Their crystalline bodies reflected the dim blue lights as they walked through the waste disposal sector. It was the 3rd hour of night cycle, and most of the station slept. Commander Velthor stopped suddenly. His antennae twitched. "Do you hear that?" he asked his subordinates. The other 2 soldiers listened carefully. A strange sound drifted through the air. It was soft but clear. Someone was crying. "Probably a broken cooling unit," one soldier said. "The recyclers make odd noises sometimes." But Velthor knew better. He had served on this station for 15 years. He knew every sound the machines made. This was different. This was organic. This was alive. They followed the sound deeper into the sector. Between 2 massive cargo containers, they found him. A human male sat on the cold floor, his back against the wall. His knees were pulled up to his chest. His face was buried in his arms. His whole body shook with sobs. "A human," Velthor said with distaste. He had never understood these creatures. They had joined the galactic community only 50 years ago, yet they acted like they belonged. They were soft, weak, and far too emotional. The human looked up. His face was wet with tears. His eyes were red and swollen. He looked at the 3 soldiers but said nothing. He just stared at them with those strange round eyes that humans had. "What are you doing here?" Velthor demanded. "This area is restricted." The human tried to speak but only managed a choked sound. He covered his face again and continued crying. The 2nd soldier, Kixeral, stepped closer. "Is it injured? Should we call medical?" Velthor scanned the human with his optical sensors. "No visible injuries. It appears to be experiencing emotional distress." He said the last words like they tasted bad in his mouth. The Chalarians prided themselves on control. They had evolved past such primitive displays of emotion. To see a grown being crying like this was shameful. Disgusting even. "We should leave it," Velthor said, turning away. "The humans can deal with their own kind." But as they started to walk away, the human spoke. His voice was rough and broken. "Please," he whispered. "Please don't leave me here." Something in that voice made Velthor pause. It was not just sadness. It was something deeper. Something that even his crystalline heart could recognize. It was the sound of someone who had lost everything. Against his better judgment, Velthor turned back. "What happened to you?" The human took several shaking breaths. He wiped his face with his sleeve, trying to compose himself. "My ship," he said. "The Morning Star. We were carrying medical supplies to the colony on Resh 4. Raiders attacked us 3 days ago." "And you escaped?" Kixeral asked. The human shook his head. New tears rolled down his cheeks. "I was in the cargo bay when they boarded. I hid in an emergency pod. They never found me. But they found everyone else. They found my sister." Velthor felt an uncomfortable sensation in his thorax. The humans were known for their family bonds, but he had never witnessed it so directly. "Your sister was crew?" "Hana," the human said. And the name came out like a prayer. She was the medical officer. She was only 22 years old. She wanted to be a doctor. She wanted to help people. His voice broke completely. "They killed her. They killed everyone. I heard it all through the comms. I heard her screaming. I heard her calling for me, and I couldn't help her. I just hid like a coward." The human buried his face in his hands again. His sobs echoed through the empty corridor. The sound seemed to fill every space, every corner. It was raw and painful and utterly human. The 3rd soldier, Nixavel, shifted uncomfortably. "Commander, we should report this. The raiders he speaks of might still be in the sector." Velthor nodded slowly. He looked at the crying human and felt something he rarely experienced. Pity. These humans were weak. They cried so easily. They broke so quickly. How had such fragile creatures ever made it to the stars? "Can you walk?" Velthor asked. The human nodded and tried to stand. His legs shook and he nearly fell. Kixeral caught him with one crystalline arm. The human was light, much lighter than a Chalarian. His body was soft and warm, so different from their hard, cool forms. They walked slowly through the corridors. The human struggled to keep up. Several times he stopped, overcome by fresh waves of grief. Each time the soldiers waited. They said nothing. What could they say? The Chalarians had no words for such emotions. When they reached the medical facility, the doors slid open with a soft hiss. Dr. Nixara looked up from her station. She saw the human and her mandibles clicked in annoyance. Another emotional breakdown? She asked. This is the third human this month. They are too fragile for deep space. Run a full scan, Velthor ordered. Check for injuries, malnutrition, exposure. As the doctor worked, Velthor accessed the station's communication system. He sent a message to the human diplomatic office on Velthar 9. They would need to deal with this. He wanted the crying human out of his sector as soon as possible. The scan results appeared on the screen. The human had minor injuries, severe dehydration, and signs of prolonged stress, but nothing life-threatening. Physically, he would recover. Emotionally was another matter. His name is Dae-hyun, Dr. Nixara said, reading from the medical file. Age 28. Registered merchant marine from Earth sector. No criminal record. Next of kin listed as, she paused, Hana, sister. Deceased as of 3 days ago. The doctor looked at Dae-hyun with something that might have been sympathy. Even she, with all her disdain for human weakness, could understand what that meant. Within an hour, 2 more humans arrived. A female named Ji-won, who wore the formal robes of a diplomat, and a male named Tae-sung, who had the bearing of a soldier despite his civilian clothes. Ji-won rushed to Dae-hyun's side. She spoke to him in their language, soft words that Velthor's translator did not bother to process. She held his hand. She touched his face. Such physical contact made Velthor uncomfortable. Tae-sung approached the commander. Thank you for finding him, he said. His voice was level and controlled. We had heard about the Morning Star. We have been searching for survivors for 2 days. He is the only one? Velthor asked. Yes, 17 crew members, all dead. The raiders did not just destroy the ship. They boarded it. They took their time. Tae-sung's jaw tightened. It was the Gorvath. We recovered what was left of the ship's logs. Velthor knew of the Gorvath. They were mercenaries, brutal and efficient. But they usually worked quickly. Why would they waste time with a small merchant vessel? What did they want? He asked. Tae-sung was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, his voice was very soft. Very dangerous. They were testing weapons. New biological weapons. They needed test subjects. Live test subjects. The meaning hit Velthor like a physical blow. They experimented on the crew? On Hana specifically. She was young, healthy, perfect for their needs. Tae-sung looked at Dae-hyun, who was still crying in Ji-won's arms. He heard it all, every moment, every scream, and there was nothing he could do. Velthor felt that uncomfortable sensation again. He had thought the human weak, pathetic, but now he understood. Dae-hyun had not just lost his sister. He had been forced to listen as she was tortured to death, and he had survived. He had drifted in a pod for 3 days with that knowledge. With those sounds in his memory, maybe the crying was not weakness. Maybe it was the only thing keeping him sane. Will he recover? Velthor asked. Tae-sung looked at his commander. Humans always recover, he said. The question is what they become after. That night, Velthor wrote his report. He described finding the human. He described the crying, the weakness, the emotional collapse. He recommended that human vessels be better protected. He recommended that the Gorvath be investigated. But what he did not write was the strange feeling he had. The sense that something had changed. That finding a crying human in the dark was going to mean something more than just another rescue. He did not know how right he was. The medical facility hummed with the soft sounds of machines. Tae-hyun lay on a bed that was too hard for human comfort. The Calarians did not need soft things. Their crystalline bodies did not feel discomfort the way flesh did. Ji-won sat beside him holding his hand. She had not left his side since arriving. Her face showed the same exhaustion that Dae-hyun felt. She had been awake for 30 hours, coordinating search efforts, contacting families, filing reports with a dozen different agencies. Tae-sung stood by the window, looking out at the stars. He had not said much since they arrived. He simply watched, waited. That was what he did best. You should sleep, Ji-won told Dae-hyun. The doctor gave you something to help. I cannot sleep, Dae-hyun whispered. Every time I close my eyes, I see her. I hear her. A fresh tear rolled down his cheek. She called my name, Ji-won. She called for me at the end. And I did nothing. You did what you could. You survived. That is what Hana would have wanted. I should have died with them. With her. Ji-won squeezed his hand tighter. Do not say that. Never say that, but Dae-hyun closed his eyes anyway. The medicine was strong. Within minutes, he fell into a troubled sleep. His body twitched. He made small sounds of distress. The monitors beside his bed showed elevated heart rate, rapid breathing. Even in sleep, he found no peace. Dr. Nixara entered the room. She checked the monitors and made small clicking sounds of disapproval. His stress levels are dangerous. If he continues like this, his body will shut down. Humans are so fragile. He watched his sister die, Ji-won said coldly. How would you react? I would control myself. I would process the loss logically. I would not collapse into useless emotion. Then you would not be human. The doctor said nothing more. She adjusted the medicine levels and left. She did not understand humans. She did not want to. They were too complicated, too messy, too alive. Tae-sung moved from the window. I need to speak with you, he told Ji-won. Outside. They left Dae-hyun sleeping and walked into the corridor. Tae-sung pulled out a small device and pressed a button. A privacy field activated around them. No one could hear their words now. I accessed the Morning Star's black box, he said quietly. The data we recovered from the wreckage. And? It is worse than we thought. The Gorvath did not just board the ship. They spent 6 hours there. They were systematic, methodical. He paused, his jaw working. They recorded everything. They were gathering data. Ji-won felt ice in her stomach. Data on what? Human pain thresholds, psychological breaking points, how long humans can survive various forms of trauma. His voice was flat, emotionless, but his hands were clenched into fists. Hana was not the only one they focused on. But she was the youngest, the healthiest. She lasted the longest. Ji-won closed her eyes. She thought of the young woman she had met once briefly at a diplomatic function. Hana had been bright and cheerful. She had talked about her dreams of becoming a doctor. She had shown Ji-won pictures of her brother who she adored. Why? Ji-won asked. Why would the Gorvath do this? They are preparing, testing. The attack on the Morning Star was not random. It was a research mission. Tae-sung pulled up a holographic display. We found this message in the black box. It was sent to a Gorvath military command vessel. A voice filled the air. It was deep and harsh, speaking in the Gorvath language. Tae-sung's device translated the words into human speech. Test subjects performed adequately. Humans break easily under physical stress but show unexpected resilience under psychological pressure. The female specimen lasted 47 minutes under Level 3 interrogation. Recommend humans as optimal test subjects for new weapon systems. They are weak enough to not pose a threat, but strong enough to provide useful data. We'll continue testing on future encounters. The message ended. The silence that followed was heavy and dark. They are hunting us, Ji-won said. Specifically hunting humans. Yes. And we have confirmation that 3 more human vessels have gone missing in the past month. All in Gorvath-controlled space, all carrying small crews. We need to report this. We need to demand action from the Galactic Council. Tae-sung laughed, but there was no humor in it. I already tried. They said it was a matter for human authorities. They said the Gorvath have a right to protect their territory. They said humans should avoid those sectors. They are blaming us. We are the victims. We are new to the galaxy, Ji-won. We have no power, no influence. The other species see us as weak, emotional, inferior. He looked back toward the medical room where Dae-hyun slept. They see a human crying and think it proves we do not belong out here. Ji-won wanted to argue. She wanted to believe that justice would prevail, but she had been a diplomat long enough to know better. The galaxy was not fair. It was not kind. Power was the only thing that mattered. What do we do? She asked. We prepare. We warn every human vessel in the sector. We request military escort for all civilian ships. He paused. And we wait. For what? For the Gorvath to make a mistake. Inside the medical room, Dae-hyun's nightmares grew worse. He thrashed in the bed. The monitors screamed alarms. Dr. Nixara rushed back in with 2 assistants. They held him down and increased the sedatives. His mind is breaking, the doctor said. This is what happens to humans under severe trauma. They fracture. They cannot cope. But even as she spoke, Dae-hyun's eyes opened. They were wide and unfocused. He stared at the ceiling and whispered a single word. Hana. Then he screamed. The sound echoed through the medical facility. It was raw and terrible. It was the sound of a soul in agony. Other patients, other beings from a dozen different species heard that scream. Many of them felt uncomfortable. Some felt afraid. Commander Velthor heard it from his office 3 corridors away. He stopped writing his report and listened. That scream spoke of pain beyond words, of loss beyond measure. He had been wrong, he realized. This was not just human weakness. This was something deeper, something that his species had evolved away from. They had gained control and logic, but they had lost this raw, powerful, terrible capacity to feel. He did not know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. The scream ended. Daehyun collapsed back onto the bed. The sedatives finally took full effect. His body went still. His breathing slowed. But even in that deep, drugged sleep, tears continued to roll down his face. Jiwon sat beside him again. She wiped his tears away. "I am sorry," she whispered. "I am so sorry." Taesung stood in the corner of the room. His face showed nothing, but inside something was building. Something dark and hot and dangerous. He had seen many things in his life. He had fought in 3 wars. He had killed enemies and watched friends die. But this was different. This was not combat. This was not war. This was torture. This was cruelty for the sake of data, and it made him feel something he had not felt in years. Rage. The night cycle continued. The station rotated on its axis, simulating day and night for the comfort of species that needed such things. In a few hours, the artificial sun would rise. Morning would come to Velthar 9. But somewhere in the dark between the stars, something else was coming. The Gorvath fleet had received the data from the morning star. They had analyzed it. They had made plans and they were moving. Unknown to everyone on the station. Unknown to the sleeping Daehyun and the watchful Taesung and the worried Jiwon. Unknown even to Commander Velthor writing his reports. The Gorvath had chosen their next target, Velthar 9 Station, a neutral trading hub. Thousands of beings living and working together. Perfect for testing. Perfect for gathering more data. The fleet would arrive in 12 hours. By then, morning would have come. The crying human would be awake, and everything would change. But for now, in the dark of the station's night, Daehyun cried in his sleep. He cried for his sister. He cried for his crew. He cried for himself. The galaxy heard those tears and thought them weak. The galaxy would soon learn how wrong it was. In his office, Velthor finished his report. He sent it to his superiors. He recommended increased security. He recommended investigating the Gorvath. He recommended taking the human threat seriously. The response came back within minutes. A single line of text. Recommendation denied. Humans are not a priority. Focus on station security. Do not waste resources on emotional outbursts. Velthor stared at that message for a long time. Something about it felt wrong. Felt dangerous. But he was a soldier. He followed orders. He deleted the message and went back to work. It was the last quiet night Velthar 9 Station would ever know. Morning came to Velthar 9 Station like it always did. The artificial sun grew brighter. The temperature increased by 2 degrees. Beings of 100 different species woke up and began their day. In the medical facility, Daehyun finally stopped crying. Not because he felt better. Not because the pain had lessened. But because his body had simply run out of tears. He lay in the bed staring at nothing, feeling empty. Jiwon had fallen asleep in the chair beside him. Her head rested on the edge of his bed, her hand still holding his. She looked exhausted. Daehyun felt guilt about that. He was causing her trouble. He was being weak. Taesung had not slept at all. He stood by the same window, but now he was looking at something on a datapad. His face was grim. "You are awake," he said, without looking up. "Yes," Daehyun replied. His voice was rough and dry. "How do you feel?" "Empty," Taesung nodded. "That is normal. After what you experienced, empty is better than broken. Am I not already broken?" Now Taesung did look at him. His eyes were hard but not unkind. "Broken things cannot be fixed. Empty things can be filled. You are not broken, Daehyun. Not yet." Daehyun wanted to believe that, but he felt like pieces of himself had been torn away. The piece that laughed. The piece that hoped. The piece that believed the universe was good. All that remained was the memory of his sister screaming his name. "I want to see the data," Daehyun said suddenly, from the black box. "I want to see what they did." "No," Taesung said immediately. "You do not need to see that. She was my sister. I have a right to know. Knowing will not help you. It will only give you nightmares that are worse than the ones you already have. Dae-hyun pulled his hand away from Ji-won. He sat up in the bed. I heard her die. I heard every second of it. What could be worse than what is already in my head? Taesung was quiet for a long moment. Then he sighed. You are right. You have a right to know. He brought the data pad over. But I am warning you. This will hurt. Everything hurts already. Taesung showed him the files, not the video. He would not show him that. But he showed him the medical scans the Gorvath had taken. He showed him the logs they had recorded. He showed him the cold clinical notes they had made while they tortured his sister. Dae-hyun read it all. Every word, every number, every casual observation about human pain tolerance. He read until the words blurred together, until he could not breathe, until something inside him twisted into something hard and sharp. They were testing weapons, he said. His voice was different now, colder. Yes. They did this for data. For research, yes. How many others? We do not know. At least 3 more ships that we know of. Maybe more. Dae-hyun closed his eyes, but he did not cry. The emptiness inside him was filling now, filling with something that was not grief. Something darker. Something that felt like ice and fire at the same time. Where are they now? He asked. The Gorvath fleet? We do not know. They operate in small groups. They are hard to track. Find them. Dae-hyun, find them. He looked at Taesung, and the older man was surprised by what he saw. The crying, broken human from last night was gone. In his place was something else. Something focused. I need to make a call. To Earth. What are you planning? I am planning to make sure this never happens to anyone else. Taesung studied him for a moment. Then he nodded slowly. I will arrange it. But you should know that Earth Command cannot act without Council approval. And the Council will not care about a few dead humans. Then we will make them care. Ji-won woke up. She looked between the 2 men and immediately sensed the change in atmosphere. What happened? What did I miss? Dae-hyun wants to contact Earth Command, Taesung said. That is good. They need to know what happened. He wants to do more than inform them. Ji-won looked at Dae-hyun. She saw the change in him too. The soft crying man was gone. This man had hard eyes. This man had made a decision. What do you need? She asked. Access to long-range communications, secure channels, and I need to know everything about Gorvath military movements in this sector. I can get you the communications access. The military intelligence will be harder. I can help with that, Taesung said. I have contacts. You have more than contacts, Dae-hyun said suddenly. You are not just a security officer, are you? Taesung smiled slightly. No, I am not. Who are you really? Someone who has been waiting for an excuse to hit the Gorvath back. He extended his hand. Special Operations Command. Assigned to Deep Space Intelligence Gathering. My real job is to watch what happens to humans out here and report back to Earth. Dae-hyun shook his hand. Then help me report this properly. Within an hour, they had access to a secure communication room. The Kalarians were not happy about it, but Ji-won used her diplomatic authority to demand it. Commander Velthor agreed reluctantly. Dae-hyun sat in front of the communication panel. Ji-won and Taesung stood behind him. The connection to Earth took several minutes to establish. When the screen finally lit up, a woman's face appeared. She wore the uniform of Earth Defense Command. Her rank insignia showed she was an admiral. This is Admiral Yi Seo, she said. I was told this was an emergency. Admiral, my name is Dae-hyun. I was crew on the merchant vessel Morning Star. I am the only survivor. The Admiral's face softened slightly. I heard about the Morning Star. I am sorry for your loss. But this channel is for military emergencies only. This is a military emergency, Taesung said, stepping forward. Commander Taesung, Special Operations. Authorization code Theta-79 Black. The Admiral's expression changed immediately. She sat up straighter. Commander, I was not told you were involved. I was not until this morning. Admiral, the Morning Star was not destroyed by raiders. It was a deliberate attack by Gorvath military forces. They boarded the ship. They tortured the crew. They were testing weapons and gathering data on human physiology. That is a serious accusation. We have proof. We have the black box data. We have recordings of the Gorvath transmissions. He sent the files through the secure channel. Admiral, this was not an isolated incident. At least 3 other human vessels have disappeared in Gorvath space. We believe they met the same fate. The Admiral was silent as she reviewed the files. Her face grew darker with each page she read. When she finished, she looked directly at the camera. Her eyes were like steel. "Have you presented this to the Galactic Council?" she asked. "Yes," Jiwan said. "They dismissed it. They said it was a human matter. They said we should avoid Gorvath space if we did not want trouble." "I see." The Admiral was quiet for a moment. "What do you need from me?" "Justice," Daehyun said. His voice was steady now, strong. "I need you to send ships. I need you to show the Gorvath that they cannot do this to us. I need you to show the galaxy that humans are not prey. We cannot act without Council approval. If we attack the Gorvath without authorization, we will be branded as aggressors. We will lose what little standing we have." "Then what good is that standing if it cannot protect us?" The Admiral had no answer for that. "Admiral," Taesung said carefully, "you should know that Gorvath fleet movements suggest they are preparing for a larger operation. They are gathering forces. We believe they are planning to continue their experiments on a larger scale. How large? Possibly an entire station. Somewhere with a significant human population. Somewhere they can gather a lot of data." Understanding dawned on the Admiral's face. "Velthar 9. You are on Velthar 9. It has the largest human civilian population outside Earth-controlled space." "Yes. How long do we have?" "Unknown. But the Gorvath do not waste time." The Admiral made a decision. Daehyun could see it in her eyes. "I am sending what forces we have in the area. It will not be much. Maybe 5 ships, maybe 10 if we are lucky, but I am sending them." "Thank you," Daehyun said. "Do not thank me yet. If I am wrong, if the Gorvath are not coming, I will be court-martialed for deploying military assets without authorization." She looked directly at him. "But I lost a daughter to space pirates 5 years ago. I know what you are feeling. I know what you need. You need to see them pay for what they did. Yes, then I will give you that chance." "Admiral Yiseo out." The screen went dark. Jiwan let out a breath she did not know she was holding. "That could have gone worse. Or it could have gone better," Taesung said. 5 to 10 ships will not be enough if the Gorvath come in force. Then we make sure we are ready." Daehyun stood up. His legs were still weak, but he forced himself to stand straight. "How long until we can access the station's defensive systems?" "You want to help defend the station?" Jiwan asked. "I want to make sure that if the Gorvath come here, they regret it." Taesung smiled. It was not a nice smile. "Now you sound like a soldier." "I was a soldier. Before I became a merchant. Korean Union Fleet, Tactical Division. 3 years of service. Why did you leave?" "Because I was tired of fighting. Because I wanted to do something peaceful. Because Hana asked me to stop taking risks." His voice cracked slightly on her name, but he pushed through it. "That was a mistake. I should have stayed ready. I should have been able to protect her." "You cannot protect everyone," Jiwan said gently. "No, but I can make sure others are protected." He looked at both of them. "The Gorvath made a mistake. They left me alive. Now I'm going to show them why that was a mistake." Outside the communication room, Commander Velthor had been listening. Not intentionally. His security systems had flagged the secure transmission. He had accessed the logs. The alert came 8 hours after Daehyun's call to Earth. Commander Velthor was in his office when every screen turned red. The station's defense system had detected incoming vessels. A lot of vessels. He pulled up the sensor data and felt his internal temperature drop. 37 ships. All Gorvath signatures. All military grade. And they were heading straight for Velthar 9. "All hands to battle stations," he ordered. "Raise shields. Charge weapons. Send distress signals to all nearby vessels." His second-in-command, Kixral, appeared on the screen. "Commander, we have only 12 defense ships. We cannot fight a fleet that size. I know. Begin evacuation procedures. Prioritize civilians. Evacuation will take at least 15 hours. They will be here in 12. Velthor said nothing. There was nothing to say. The mathematics were clear. They were going to die. A message came through on the main channel. Velthor recognized the harsh voice. It was the same Gorvath who had sent the message from the Morning Star, the one who had tortured Hana. Velthar 9 Station. This is Gorvath Battle Group 7. You will surrender control of your station within 12 hours. Any resistance will be met with total destruction. We require your station for military operations. Comply and you will be allowed to evacuate. Resist and you will be eliminated. The message ended. Military operations, Velthor said quietly. They are going to use our station as a base to attack human ships. A base to conduct more experiments, Kixral's voice was grim. What are your orders, Commander? Begin evacuation, but also prepare for defense. If we are going to die, we will die with honor. In the medical facility, Daehyun heard the alert. He heard the message. He felt something cold settle in his chest. They were coming. The ones who killed Hana. They were coming here. Tae-sung burst into the room. We have a problem. I heard. We need to get you off the station now. No. Daehyun, this is not the time to be brave. There are 37 Gorvath warships coming. This station cannot fight them. You need to evacuate. Where would I go? Back to Earth? Back to an empty home where my sister used to live? He shook his head. No, I am staying. I am fighting. You are one man. You cannot make a difference, maybe not. But I can try. Ji-won entered the room. She looked pale but determined. The human embassy is organizing evacuation for all human civilians. We have transport ships standing by. How many humans are on this station? Daehyun asked. About 2,000. Workers, traders, families. Most of them have been here for years. 2,000 people. The Gorvath will kill them all. Or worse, use them for experiments. Which is why we need to evacuate them. There is not enough time. Daehyun stood up. He was still weak, but adrenaline gave him strength. How long until the human ships arrive? The ones Admiral Yi Seo sent? Tae-sung checked his datapad. 6 hours. But she was only able to send 7 ships. Against 37 Gorvath warships, that is not enough. 7 ships. Daehyun repeated. 7 ships coming to help us. Do you know what that means? That we will lose? Ji-won said. That we are not alone. Daehyun looked at them both. The Gorvath think humans are weak. They think we break easily. They think we are good for nothing but experiments. But they made a mistake. They left me alive. And I told Earth what happened. And Earth is sending ships. 7 ships. It is not about 7 ships. Daehyun's voice rose. It is about what those ships represent. Earth heard that one of their own was hurt. Earth heard that a human was crying in the dark. And Earth sent help. That is what it means to be human. We do not abandon our own. Tae-sung stared at him. Then slowly a smile spread across his face. You are right. And you know what? 7 ships is just the beginning. What do you mean? Admiral Yi Seo is smart. She knows 7 ships is not enough. But she also knows that every human within range will hear about this. Every human captain, every human crew, every human station will hear that the Gorvath are attacking a station with 2,000 human civilians on it. Understanding dawned on Ji-won's face. They will come. Even without orders. They will come. Yes, Tae-sung said. They will come. Because that is what we do. Over the next 3 hours, something remarkable happened. Messages started arriving at Velthar 9. Short messages. Quick messages. All saying the same thing. Human transport vessel Dawn Runner changing course. ETA 9 hours. Human research ship Bright Star changing course. Hana 10 hours. Human cargo hauler Big Sky changing course. ETA 8 hours. Human mining ship Deep Core changing course. ETA 7 hours, on and on. Ship after ship. Some were close. Some were far. But they were all coming. They were all changing course. They were all heading to Velthar 9. Commander Velthor watched the display with growing amazement. There are over 50 human vessels converging on this station. Most of them are civilian ships. Cargo haulers, transports, research vessels. They have no weapons. What do they think they can do? Tae-sung smiled grimly. They can show the Gorvath that humans do not run. Humans do not hide. And humans do not let their own die alone. But the messages did not stop there. 4 hours before the Gorvath were set to arrive, new signals appeared. These were military ships. Real warships. Heavy cruisers, destroyers, fast attack ships, Human Defense Force Squadron 7 changing course. ETA 5 hours, Korean Union Fleet Task Group 3 changing course. ETA 5 hours. Pan-Asian Coalition Battle Group 12 changing course. ETA 6 hours. More and more. Ships from every human nation. Ships from every human colony. They were coming from all directions. Some would arrive in time. Some would not. But they were all coming. Velthor could not believe what he was seeing. This is impossible. You cannot mobilize this many ships this quickly, not without Central Command authorization, not without caring about authorization, Tae-sung finished. Commander, you need to understand something about humans. We have a saying, blood is thicker than water. It means that family bonds are stronger than anything else. And to humans, every human is family. That is illogical. You cannot possibly care about every member of your species. Cannot we? You heard Dae-hyun crying last night. You thought it was weakness. But what you did not understand is that every human who hears about what happened to him feels that pain too. Every human who knows about Hana feels that loss. We do not need to know them personally. We just need to know they are human. That is enough. Velthor looked at the tactical display. Over 100 human vessels were now converging on Velthar 9. Some were warships. Most were not. But they were all coming. This is madness, he whispered. You will all die, maybe, Dae-hyun said. He had entered the command center with Ji-won. His face was hard. His eyes were clear. But we will die together, and we will take as many Gorvath with us as we can. The Kilarian commander looked at this human who had been crying in the dark just one night ago. This broken, weak creature, except he was not weak anymore. He was not broken. He was something else entirely. He was dangerous. The first wave of human ships is arriving, Kixerl reported. 7 vessels. Military class. They are hailing us. Put them through, Velthor ordered. A face appeared on the screen. A human male with short gray hair and sharp eyes. He wore the uniform of Earth Defense Force. This is Captain Sung-min of the EDF Retribution. We are here to assist in the defense of Velthar 9. Captain, your ship is welcome, but we are facing overwhelming odds. The Gorvath fleet has 37 warships. Even with your support, we cannot win. Captain Sung-min smiled. It was not a friendly smile. Commander, we are not here to win. We are here to hold the line until our reinforcements arrive. And believe me, reinforcements are coming. How many more ships? All of them. Every human ship within 3 days' travel. We put out the call. One of our own is on your station. One of our own was hurt, and humans do not forget that. Humans do not forgive that. Velthor wanted to say that was impossible, that no species could mobilize like this, that no species would risk so much for one individual. But he was looking at the sensor display. He was seeing the proof. Over 100 ships and more arriving every hour. How? He asked. How do you do this? Dae-hyun answered. Because last night I was crying in the dark. I was alone and broken and lost. But I am not alone anymore. I am never alone. Because I am human. And humans do not abandon family. Tae-sung stepped forward. Commander Velthor, I need access to your tactical systems. I need to coordinate the defense with the incoming ships. You are assuming you have authority here. I am assuming you want to live, because in about 8 hours the Gorvath are going to realize they made a mistake. They thought they could attack humans without consequences. They thought we were weak. They thought we would not fight back. And they were wrong. Tae-sung's voice was cold as space itself. Now they will learn what happens when you make a human cry. Now they will face the consequences. Now they will see what humans really are. What are you? Velthor asked. Dae-hyun answered. We are the species that loves fiercely. We are the species that feels deeply. We are the species that cries for our dead. He paused. And we are the species that will burn the galaxy down to protect our own Velthor. Looked at the 3 humans standing before him. The diplomat, the soldier, the crying man from last night who was not crying anymore. And he made a decision. Computer, grant emergency access to Tae-sung. Full tactical control. 2 hours remained before the Gorvath would arrive. The station buzzed with activity as everyone prepared for battle. Commander Velthor had never seen anything like it. His Kilarian soldiers worked alongside human defenders. Engineers reinforced shields. Weapons crews ran drills. Medical teams prepared for casualties. And in the command center, Dae-hyun worked miracles. He had downloaded the complete layout of Velthar 9. He knew every corridor, every junction, every weak point. His fingers flew across the holographic displays as he created defensive positions, fallback points, kill zones here, he said, pointing to a section of the station. The Gorvath will try to board here. It is the weakest structural point. We reinforce it now, and they will waste time cutting through, time we can use to position defenders. Tae-sung studied the plan. That will work. But we need more personnel. We do not have enough soldiers to cover all the critical points. Then we use volunteers. Civilians. You want to arm civilians? I want to arm everyone who can hold a weapon. The Gorvath are not coming here to negotiate. They are coming here to capture this station and use everyone on it for experiments. I would rather die fighting than die in a Gorvath laboratory. Tae-sung nodded slowly. Agreed. I will put out the call. Within an hour, over 300 people had volunteered. Not just humans, Kalarians, Velnari, Tashkal, even a group of Rilkan merchants who had never held a weapon before. They all wanted to fight, because they had all heard what the Gorvath did to the Morning Star. Velthor walked through the volunteer staging area. He saw beings of a dozen species learning to use weapons, training in basic tactics, preparing to die. One of the volunteers was a young Kalarian female. She could not have been more than 20 cycles old. She held a plasma rifle awkwardly. Why are you here? Velthor asked her. Because it is right, she said. The Gorvath are wrong. What they did to those humans was wrong. I cannot just stand by and let it happen again. You could evacuate. You could be safe. There is no safe. Not anymore. If we do not stop the Gorvath here, they will go somewhere else. They will hurt more people. So I am here. Velthor felt something shift inside him. His species had evolved past emotions. They had chosen logic and control. But looking at this young female, willing to die for what was right, he wondered if they had lost something important in that evolution. In another part of the station, Jiwon worked to calm the civilians. Many were afraid. Many wanted to flee. She understood. She wanted to flee too, but she did not. I know you are scared, she told a group of human families. I am scared too, but running will not save us. The Gorvath are faster than our evacuation ships. They will hunt us down. Our only chance is to fight here, to hold the station, to show them that we are not prey. A woman holding a young child spoke up. But what if we lose? What happens to our children? Jiwon had no good answer for that. So she told the truth. If we lose, the Gorvath will take everyone. But if we fight, if we hold them off long enough, more help will come. And I promise you, help is coming. The whole human fleet is coming. We just need to survive until they arrive. The woman looked at her child. Then she nodded. What do you need us to do? Get to the emergency shelters. Stay there until the fighting is over. And if the worst happens, if the Gorvath break through, there are weapons caches in each shelter. Use them. The woman's face went pale, but she understood. They all understood. This was a fight for survival. Back in the command center, new ships continued to arrive. The sensor display looked like a swarm of fireflies. Each light was a ship. Each ship carried humans willing to fight. Tae-sung counted them. 83 ships now. 40 of them are military grade. The rest are armed civilian vessels. We have maybe a third of the firepower the Gorvath have, but we have more ships, more targets for them to track. How many more are coming? Velthor asked, unknown. The human fleet put out a general distress call. Every ship that can fight is coming, but many will not arrive in time for the first battle. The first battle? Velthor repeated. You think there will be more than one? I think the Gorvath are going to learn that humans do not give up. Even if they win today, we will come back tomorrow. And the next day, and the day after that. We will keep coming until they are gone or we are gone. Velthor believed him. He had seen the determination in human eyes. It was terrifying. Daehyun stepped away from the tactical display. He looked tired. The drugs that kept him standing were wearing off. But his eyes were still sharp. I need to check something, he said. I will be back in 10 minutes. Where are you going? Jiwon asked. To the memorial hall, she understood. Do you want company? No, I need to do this alone. He walked through the corridors. Beings rushed past him, preparing for battle. No one paid attention to one more human moving through the station. That was good. He wanted to be alone. The memorial hall was quiet. It was a small room with walls made of glass. Names were etched into the glass. Names of beings who had died on the station over the years. Accidents, illnesses, age. Daehyun found an empty section of wall. He used a laser stylus to etch a name, Hana, just her name. No family name, no dates, just the name of his sister. He stood there looking at that name and felt something inside him crack. Not break, just crack, like ice starting to melt. I am sorry, he whispered. I am sorry I could not save you. I am sorry I hid while you died. I am sorry for everything. The name on the wall did not answer. The dead never did, but I promise you something. The ones who hurt you will pay. They will know what it feels like to lose everything. They will know what it feels like to be afraid. I will make sure of it. A tear rolled down his cheek, just one. The first since this morning. I love you, he said. I will always love you. Then he wiped his face, turned around, and walked back to the command center. There was work to do. Velthor was waiting for him. The Gorvath will be here in 1 hour. All positions are ready. All weapons are charged. All shields are at maximum. Good. I want you to know something, the Calarian said. When I found you last night, I thought you were weak. I thought humans were too fragile for space. But I was wrong. You are not weak. You are the strongest beings I have ever met. Daehyun looked at him. We are not strong because we do not feel pain. We are strong because we feel everything and we keep going anyway. I understand that now. Taesung interrupted them. We have a problem. A group of humans just arrived on a ship. They say they have something that can help. What kind of ship? A small transport. Civilian registry, but it is fast and heavily modified. Who are they? 3 people entered the command center. 2 men and 1 woman, all human. They looked like ordinary civilians. 1 man wore mechanics coveralls. The woman wore a simple dress. The other man looked barely old enough to be called an adult. My name is Min Seok, the mechanic said. This is Heejin and Boram. We run businesses on this station, repair shop, restaurant, tech support. What do you want? Velthor asked. To help. We heard about what happened to Daehyun. We heard about the Gorvath coming, and we want to help. You are civilians. You should evacuate, Min Seok smiled. It was not a nice smile. We are not just civilians. I used to be with Earth Engineering Corps, demolitions expert. Heejin ran intelligence operations for 3 years before retiring, and Boram here is the best hacker in 4 sectors. Boram looked embarrassed. I am not that good. You hacked the Calarian military database for fun when you were 16, Heejin said. You are that good. Velthor's external plates bristled. You did what? It was just a test. I did not take anything. I just wanted to see if I could do it. I left you a note explaining the security holes. That was you? Velthor had found that note. He had spent months trying to figure out how someone had breached their security. I could have you arrested, you could. But right now you need me. Because I can do to the Gorvath what I did to you. I can get into their systems. I can see their communications. I can maybe even disrupt their targeting. Taesung looked interested. How long would you need? Once they are in range? Maybe 10 minutes to find their frequency. Another 10 to break their encryption. After that, I can listen to everything they say. Maybe even send false orders. That would be very useful. There is more, Min Seok said. I have been preparing for something like this. I have explosives placed in key locations around the station. Not enough to destroy it, but enough to create choke points. If the Gorvath board us, I can blow sections and trap them. Velthor looked horrified. You have bombs on my station? For years. I always believed in being prepared. Lucky for you, right? The Solarian did not know whether to arrest them or thank them. He decided to do neither. Fine, you can help. But if this goes wrong, we are all dead anyway, Heejin said. So it does not really matter. She was right. It did not matter. Daehyun looked at the 3 of them. Why are you really helping? You could have left. You could have been safe. Min Seok met his eyes. Because humans do not run. Because what happened to your sister was wrong. And because if we let the Gorvath do this, they will keep doing it. Someone has to stand up. Might as well be us, Boram nodded. Also, I never liked the Gorvath. They are mean. Despite everything, Daehyun almost smiled. Thank you. All of you. Do not thank us yet. Thank us if we survive. The command center fell into focused silence. Everyone worked. Everyone prepared. The clock counted D. The first salvo from the Gorvath fleet hit Velthar 9's shields like a hammer. The entire station shook. Lights flickered. Alarms screamed. People grabbed onto anything solid as the gravity briefly failed. Shields at 70%, an operator called out. They are concentrating fire on the western docking array. Return fire, Velthor ordered. All weapons target the lead ships. The station's defensive batteries opened up. Streams of plasma and kinetic rounds shot into space. Some hit, some missed. The Gorvath ships were fast and well-armored. But there were only 12 Calarian defense ships against 37 Gorvath warships. The mathematics were clear. They would lose. Then the human ships arrived, human fleet entering engagement range. Taesung called out, all ships weapons free. Execute attack pattern Delta 7. The human ships did not form a neat line. They did not follow standard military doctrine. They scattered like a swarm of angry insects. Fast attack ships darted in, fired missiles, and darted out. Frigates unleashed broadsides at close range. Even the civilian ships joined in, their improvised weapons tearing into Gorvath shields. In the command center, Boram's fingers flew across her console. I am in their communications network. What are they saying? Daehyun asked. They are confused. They did not expect this many ships. They thought we would run, she grinned. They are calling for reinforcements. How many more ships do they have? Unknown. But they are scared. I can hear it in their voices. On the main screen, a Gorvath cruiser exploded. A human destroyer had rammed it at full speed. The explosion was massive. Both ships were destroyed. That was the EDF Vengeance, an operator reported. No survivors. Taesung's face was stone. Mark their sacrifice. Continue the attack. More ships exploded. More people died. The space around Velthar 9 became a graveyard. Debris spun in all directions. Escape pods fled from dying ships. The Gorvath fired on them. The humans fired on Gorvath escape pods too. This was not a clean fight. This was not honorable. This was brutal and ugly and desperate. Enemy boarding craft detected. Someone shouted. 6 craft heading for the western dock. Min-seok, are your charges ready? Daehyun asked. The mechanic nodded. Ready, say the word. Wait until they dock. Let them commit. Then blow the dock. That will kill everyone in that section. I know. Do it anyway. Min-seok hesitated for only a second. Then he nodded. His fingers moved across his detonator controls. The Gorvath boarding craft attached to the western dock. Soldiers poured out. Over 200 of them, heavily armed and armored. They expected resistance. They expected a fight. They did not expect the entire dock to explode. Min-seok pressed the trigger. The explosives he had carefully placed over years of preparation detonated simultaneously. The western dock section tore away from the station. Air rushed out. The Gorvath soldiers were sucked into space. The boarding craft tumbled away, empty. Dock section destroyed, Min-seok reported. His voice was steady, but his hands shook. Casualties estimated at 15 station personnel. 200 plus Gorvath. Velthor stared at the human mechanic. You just killed your own people. I killed 15 to save thousands. That is mathematics. That is war. Min-seok looked at the screen. And I would do it again. More Gorvath ships moved in. They had learned. They were adapting. Their formation tightened. Their fire became more coordinated. They were pushing the human ships back. We cannot hold, Taesung said. We are losing too many ships. Where are the reinforcements? Still 40 minutes out, Ji-won reported. The main fleet is coming as fast as they can, but they will not make it in time. Daehyun studied the tactical display. His mind raced. He had spent 3 years as a tactical officer. He understood fleet movements. He understood how battles were won and lost, and he understood they were losing. We need to change tactics, he said. The Gorvath are stronger than us, better armed, better coordinated. We cannot win a straight fight. Then what do you suggest? Velthor asked. We stop fighting fair. He pulled up a new display. The Gorvath are using standard formation 7. It is a good formation, strong, but it has one weakness. The command ship stays in the center, protected by the other vessels. So we cannot reach it. Not with ships. But what if we do not use ships? Taesung understood immediately. You want to use missiles. Long-range missiles. Saturate their defenses. No. I want to use our smallest ship as a missile. Have it loaded with explosives. Have it set on automated course. Ram it straight into their command ship. That would be suicide for the crew. Then we do not put a crew on it. We use remote control. Daehyun turned to Boram. Can you pilot a ship remotely? The young hacker bit her lip. Maybe. If I can hack their targeting systems, I can make them think the ship is debris. They might not shoot at it. Do it. Within 10 minutes, they had a plan. The human light frigate Dawn Runner was evacuated. Her crew transferred to other ships. Her reactor was set to overload. Her engines were set to full power. And Boram took control. The ship turned away from the battle. The Gorvath ignored it. They thought it was fleeing. That was their mistake. Boram's fingers danced across her controls. The Dawn Runner spun around. It accelerated. Faster. Faster. The reactor climbed toward critical. The ship became a bullet. A bomb with engines the Gorvath noticed too late. They fired at it. Some shots hit, but the Dawn Runner was small and fast and already too close. It struck the Gorvath command ship dead center. The explosion was like a small sun. The command ship broke apart. Debris scattered in all directions. Secondary explosions rippled through the Gorvath fleet as damaged ships collided with each other. In the command center, everyone watched in stunned silence. Command ship destroyed, Taesung reported quietly. Gorvath fleet is in disarray. Their formation is breaking. All ships press the attack, Velthor ordered. Do not give them time to recover. The human ships surged forward. They were battered. They were damaged. Many were barely holding together. But they pressed on. They fired every weapon. They gave everything they had because humans did not know when to quit. A Gorvath battleship tried to turn. A human cruiser, already dying, rammed into its engines. Both ships exploded. 3 human fighters flew into a Gorvath carrier's hangar bay and detonated their reactors. The carrier was gutted from the inside. They are breaking, someone shouted. The Gorvath are retreating. It was true. The Gorvath fleet, or what remained of it, was pulling back. They had lost their command ship. They had lost a third of their fleet. They were facing an enemy that would not stop, would not surrender, would not show mercy. The Gorvath had never faced an enemy like this before. Should we pursue? Taesung asked. Daehyun shook his head. No, let them run. Let them tell the others what happened here. Let them spread the fear. Velthor looked at him. You want them to be afraid? I want them to understand what they have created. They hurt one human. They killed one girl. And now they face this. He gestured at the battle. I want every Gorvath in the galaxy to know what happens when they make a human cry. The Gorvath fleet jumped to faster than light speed. They fled, they ran. They abandoned their attack on Velthar 9. In the command center, people cheered. They had won. They had survived. But Daehyun did not cheer. Because he knew this was not over. This was just the beginning. Boram, did you record their communications? Yes, every word. Where did they come from? Where are they going? She pulled up the data. They came from a Gorvath military station. Designation Core 9, it is 3 days from here. How many ships are there? According to their communications, a lot. At least 50 more warships, maybe more. The cheering stopped. Everyone turned to look at Daehyun. What are you thinking? Jiwon asked carefully. I am thinking they will come back. With more ships, more weapons. They will not accept this defeat. Then we ask for help. We get the council involved. The council will do nothing. You know that. They will hold meetings. They will discuss protocols. They will debate while the Gorvath prepare to attack again. So what do you want to do? Daehyun looked at the tactical display. At the location of Core 9 Station, at the place where the Gorvath fleet had come from. I want to make sure they cannot come back. I want to destroy their station. I want to make them feel what we felt. The room fell silent. Taesung spoke first. That would be an act of war. A real war, not a defense. An attack. They started this war when they tortured my sister. I am just going to finish it. You cannot do this alone. I am not alone. Daehyun turned to face everyone in the command center. They killed humans. They tortured us. They thought we were weak. Who wants to show them how wrong they were? Every human in the room raised their hand, then slowly. Velthor raised his hand too. I am with you, Kixrel looked at his commander. Sir, are you certain? I watched humans fight today. I watched them die for beings they did not know. I watched them sacrifice everything for what was right. The Chilarian's voice was firm. The Gorvath are evil. They must be stopped. And if humans are the only ones willing to stop them, then I will stand with humans. More hands went up. Kalarians, Velnari, Teshkal, beings from a dozen species who had witnessed the battle, who had seen what humans would do for their own. Then it is decided, Daehyun said. We go to Core 9, we destroy the Gorvath station, and we make sure they never hurt another human again. The main human fleet will R. The human fleet jumped to faster than light speed. 117 ships disappeared from normal space in flashes of blue light. Behind them, Velthar 9 station began repairs. The dead were counted. The wounded were treated. And the survivors tried to understand what had just happened. Inside the lead ship, the EDF Retribution, Dae-hyun stood in the war room with Admiral Yi Seo, Tai-sung, and a dozen other officers. A holographic display showed their destination, Core 9 station deep in Gorvath territory. Intelligence reports show Core 9 is a military research facility, Tae-sung said. Population approximately 5,000 Gorvath. Unknown number of warships, at least 50, possibly more. What kind of research? Admiral Yi Seo asked. Weapons development. Biological experiments. Torture techniques. He paused. It is where they sent the data from the Morning Star, where they analyzed what they did to Hana and the others. Dae-hyun's jaw tightened. His hands gripped the edge of the table. Then we destroy it completely, nothing left. We cannot just destroy a station, one officer said. There are laws, rules of engagement. The Galactic Council, the Council did nothing when humans were being tortured. Dae-hyun's voice rose. The Council did nothing when we asked for help. Why should we care about their rules now? Because if we break the rules, we become the villains. We lose any moral high ground we have. Moral high ground? Dae-hyun laughed bitterly. You want to talk about morals? They tortured my sister for 47 minutes. They recorded every scream. They studied her pain like it was a science experiment. Where was the moral high ground then? The officer had no answer. Admiral Yi Seo raised her hand for silence. We will attack Core 9. We will destroy their ability to harm humans. But we will offer them a chance to surrender first. If they refuse, then we show no mercy. They will not surrender, Tae-sung said. I know, but we need to offer. For the record, for history, so no one can say we did not try. The fleet traveled for 3 days. 3 days of preparation. 3 days of tension. 3 days of humans getting angrier with every passing hour. Because word had spread, every human in the fleet knew about Hana, about the Morning Star, about what the Gorvath had done. And every human wanted revenge. On the second day, more ships arrived. Human vessels from across the galaxy converging on the fleet. Warships, transports, even civilian craft with improvised weapons. By the third day, the fleet had grown to over 200 ships. This is madness, Jiwon said. She stood with Dae-hyun in the observation deck, watching the stars streak past. We are bringing every human ship in the sector to attack one station. If this goes wrong, if we lose, humanity will be defenseless. We will not lose. How can you be so certain? Because the Gorvath think they know us. They think we are weak. They think we will fight by the rules. He turned to look at her. But they made us cry. And when humans cry, we remember. We do not forget. We do not forgive. And we do not stop until justice is done. This is not justice. This is revenge. Maybe. But sometimes revenge is all we have left. Jiwon was quiet. She wanted to argue. She wanted to say he was wrong. But she had seen the data. She had read what the Gorvath did. And part of her, the part she tried to hide, wanted revenge too. On the third day, they arrived at Core 9. The station hung in space like a metal spider. Massive, ugly, bristling with weapons. Around it, 47 Gorvath warships patrolled. They had been waiting. They knew we were coming, Tae-sung said. Of course they knew. The survivors from Velthar 9 warned them. Admiral Yi Seo studied the tactical display. They are ready for us. Are we ready for them? We are about to find out. She opened a channel to the entire fleet. All ships, this is Admiral Yi Seo. We are here because the Gorvath attacked our people. They tortured our families. They thought we would accept this. They were wrong. Today we show them what happens when you hurt humanity. Today we show them that humans are not prey. We are predators. And we have come to hunt. A roar went up from every ship. Thousands of voices. Tens of thousands. All human. All angry. All ready to fight. The Admiral opened a channel to Core 9. Gorvath Station, Core 9, this is Admiral Yi Seo of Earth Defense Force. You have committed crimes against humanity. You have tortured and killed innocent people. We demand your immediate surrender. You have 5 minutes to comply. The response came quickly. A Gorvath voice harsh and mocking. Humans, you are foolish to come here. This is Gorvath space. You have no authority. You have no power. Leave now or be destroyed. That is your final answer. We do not negotiate with prey. We do not surrender to food. Go back to your weak little worlds and cry like the pathetic creatures you are. Admiral Yi Seo closed the channel. She looked at Dae-hyun. They refused. Good, he said. I hoped they would. All ships, the admiral said calmly. Weapons free. Destroy everything. The human fleet opened fire. 200 ships unleashed hell. Missiles streaked through space. Plasma beams cut across the dark. Kinetic rounds moved faster than sound. The Gorvath ships returned fire, but they were outnumbered 4-1. This was not like Velthar 9. This was not a desperate defense. This was an attack. This was humanity bringing its full force to bear, and it was terrifying. Gorvath ships exploded, one after another. The humans did not form lines. They did not follow standard tactics. They swarmed. They surrounded. They overwhelmed. In the command center of Core 9, the Gorvath commander watched his fleet die. This is impossible. Humans do not fight like this. They are peaceful. They are civilized. His second officer was pale. Commander, we need to evacuate. We cannot win this fight. We are Gorvath. We do not run from prey. Sir, they are not acting like prey. On the EDF retribution, Daehyun watched the battle with cold eyes. He saw Gorvath ships break apart. He saw escape pods fleeing. He saw the same panic the Morning Star crew must have felt. Target the escape pods, he said quietly. An officer looked at him in shock. Sir, that is against the rules of war. We do not fire on escape pods. They did not spare my sister. Why should we spare them? Because we are better than they are. Daehyun looked at the officer. No, we are not better. We are worse. Because we know what they did. We understand the pain they caused. And we will make sure they feel it too. Admiral Yiseo intervened. We will not fire on escape pods. That is an order. She looked at Daehyun. I understand your pain. I share your anger. But we do not become monsters to fight monsters. For a moment, Daehyun wanted to argue, wanted to insist. But he saw the firmness in the Admiral's eyes. And he remembered Hana, his sister who wanted to be a doctor, who wanted to help people. She would not want him to become like the Gorvath. As you command, Admiral, he said quietly. The last Gorvath ship exploded. The station was now defenseless. 47 warships reduced to debris in less than an hour. The might of the Gorvath had been broken. Core 9 station, this is Admiral Yiseo. You have one last chance to surrender. Power down your weapons. Evacuate your personnel, or we will destroy the station with everyone on it. The Gorvath commander's face appeared on screen. He looked old and tired. You killed them all. You destroyed our entire defense fleet. Yes, and I will destroy your station too if you do not surrender. We surrender, please, we surrender. Begin evacuation immediately. You have 30 minutes. The channel closed. Around the human fleet, people celebrated. They had won. They had crushed the Gorvath. They had avenged their dead, but Daehyun felt empty. He watched the Gorvath evacuate their station. He watched them flee in transports and shuttles. And he felt nothing. Are you satisfied? Ji-won asked. She had come to stand beside him. No. Why not? We won. We destroyed them. Winning does not bring Hana back. Revenge does not make the pain go away. He looked at her. I thought it would. I thought if I made them hurt, if I made them pay, I would feel better. But I just feel empty. That is because revenge is not healing. It is just more pain. Then what should I have done? Just accepted her death? Just moved on? No, you should remember her. Honor her. Live for her. Ji-won touched his arm gently. Hana would not want this. She would not want you to become hard and cold. She would want you to stay the kind brother who cried for her. Daehyun closed his eyes. Tears rolled down his cheeks. I miss her so much. I know. And you will miss her forever. But that is okay. Missing her means she mattered. Crying for her means she was loved. On the screen, the last transport left Core 9 station. The station was empty now. Just metal and machines. All ships target the station, Admiral Yiseo ordered. Fire at will. 200 ships fired simultaneously. Core 9 station was torn apart. Explosions rippled across its surface. Sections broke away. The research facility where they had analyzed Hana's death was vaporized. The laboratories where they had planned more experiments were destroyed. Within minutes, nothing remained but debris. Target destroyed, Taesung reported. The Gorvath military presence in this sector is eliminated. The fleet began to turn, began to head home. But Daehyun remained at the window watching the wreckage spin in space. Is it over? He asked. This battle is over, Admiral Yiseo said. She had come to stand with him. But the war has just begun. The Gorvath will retaliate, and when they do, humanity will be ready. We started this war by crying, by showing weakness. We started this war by showing we care, by showing that human lives matter, that when one of us falls, all of us feel it. She put a hand on his shoulder. You cried for you? Within minutes, nothing remained but debris. Target destroyed, Taesung reported. The Gorvath military presence in this sector is eliminated. The fleet began to head home. But Dae-hyun remained at the window watching the wreckage spin in space. Is it over? He asked. This battle is over, Admiral Yiseo said. She had come to stand with him. But the war has just begun. The Gorvath will retaliate, and when they do, humanity will be ready. We started this war by crying, by showing weakness. We started this war by showing we care, by showing that human lives matter, that when one of us falls, all of us feel it. She put a hand on his shoulder. You cried for you? 1 week after the destruction of Core 9, Dae-hyun stood in the memorial hall on Velthar 9 station. The room had been expanded. New names covered the walls. Names of humans who died at Velthar 9. Names of humans who died at Core 9. Names of Kilarians and other species who had fought beside them. And there, in the center, was a special memorial, made of crystalline metal, shaped like a star. On it was carved a single name. Hana. Below her name were words, for all victims of Gorvath cruelty. May they rest in peace. May we never forget. Dae-hyun stood before that memorial for a long time. He did not cry. He had no tears left. But he felt something. Not emptiness anymore. Not rage, something quieter. Something like acceptance. It is beautiful, a voice said behind him. He turned. Commander Velthor stood there, his crystalline body reflecting the memorial's light. Thank you for coming. I wanted to pay my respects. She was brave. All of them were brave. She was just trying to do her job. She just wanted to help people. And because of her, because of what happened to her, the galaxy changed. Velthor moved closer to the memorial. The Galactic Council met yesterday. They debated for 12 hours about what happened at Core 9. What did they decide? They decided that humanity deserves a seat on the Council. A full seat, with voting rights and military authorization. The Chalarian looked at Dae-hyun. You terrified them. In 1 week, humans went from being ignored to being the most feared species in the galaxy. We did not want to be feared. We just wanted justice. Sometimes fear is how justice begins. Velthor was quiet for a moment. I also wanted to tell you that the Kilarian Empire is establishing a permanent military alliance with Earth. We will patrol human space. We will protect human ships. We will make sure what happened to the Morning Star never happens again. Why? We are not your people. No. But you showed us something we had forgotten. You showed us that caring for others is not weakness. That fighting for what is right matters more than following rules. He placed one crystalline hand on the memorial. My species evolved past emotions. We thought that made us superior. But watching humans fight, watching humans sacrifice everything for each other, I realized we did not evolve past emotions. We just lost the ability to feel them. And I think we are lesser for it. Dae-hyun did not know what to say to that, so he just nodded. Footsteps echoed in the hall. Ji-won entered, dressed in formal diplomatic robes. There you are. We are about to start the ceremony. What ceremony? The one where they officially recognize what you did. Where they thank you for defending the station. I do not want to be thanked. I just want to be left alone. I know, but you are a symbol now. The crying human who became a warrior. People need to see you. They need to know that humanity is strong. I am not strong. I am just angry and tired. That is what strength is sometimes. Being angry and tired and keeping going anyway. She smiled gently. Come, it will not take long. The ceremony was held in the main assembly hall. Hundreds of beings packed the space, humans, Kalarians, Velnari, Teshkal, Rilkan, species from across the galaxy who had heard about the battle, who wanted to see the human who had changed everything. Dae-hyun stood on the stage, uncomfortable in formal clothes. He hated being the center of attention. He just wanted to mourn his sister in peace. But that was not possible anymore. Commander Velthor spoke first. 1 week ago, this station faced destruction. We were outnumbered. We were afraid. Many of us thought we would die. But we did not die. We survived. We fought, we won. And we did so because of one human. A human who was found crying in the dark. A human who everyone thought was weak. A human who proved that humans are anything but weak. Applause filled the hall. Dae-hyun shifted uncomfortably. Velthor continued. I am honored to present Dae-hyun with the Kalarian Star of Valor, the highest military honor my species can give. It has only been awarded 17 times in our history, never to a non-Kalarian. Until today, he handed Dae-hyun a crystal star. It was heavy and cold in his hands. It felt wrong. He had not fought for honor. He had fought for revenge, for grief, for pain. But he accepted it anyway, because refusing would dishonor the others who had fought. Who had died, thank you, he said quietly. But I did not do this alone. Many fought, many died. They deserve this honor more than I do. They will be honored too, Velthor said. But you were the spark. You were the one who reminded us all what it means to fight for something that matters. More speeches followed. Admiral Yiseo spoke about human courage. Tae-sung spoke about military tactics. Ji-won spoke about diplomatic implications. Dae-hyun barely heard any of it. He just stood there holding the crystal star thinking about Hana, wondering if she would be proud of what he had done. Or ashamed. Finally, it was his turn to speak. He had not prepared anything. He did not know what to say, so he just spoke from his heart. My sister died 1 week ago. She was 22 years old. She wanted to be a doctor. She wanted to help people. She was kind and smart and funny. And she was murdered by the Gorvath because they wanted to test weapons. Because they thought humans were weak, because they thought no one would care. His voice was steady. No tears, just words. I cried for her. I cried in the dark, alone, broken. And I thought I was weak for crying. I thought I had failed her. He looked out at the crowd. But I was wrong. Crying did not make me weak. It made me human. It reminded me what I was fighting for. It reminded me that some things are worth dying for. He held up the crystal star. This honor is not just for me. It is for Hana. It is for everyone on the morning star. It is for every human who has been hurt by those who thought we were prey. And it is a promise that we will never be prey again. A promise that anyone who hurts humanity will face consequences. A promise that we will always protect our own. The applause was deafening. But Dae-hyun felt nothing. Just emptiness. Just the weight of the crystal star in his hands. After the ceremony, he retreated to a quiet corner. He needed space, needed air, needed to be alone, but Tae-sung found him. You did well. I said what needed to be said. You said what needed to be heard. The older man sat beside him. I have news. Earth Defense Command wants you. They want you to join as a tactical officer. Your rank would be restored. You would have a position on the Strategic Planning Board. I do not want to be a soldier anymore. You are already a soldier. You just forgot for a while. But Hana's death reminded you. Tae-sung looked at him seriously. The galaxy is different now. Humans are different now. We were peaceful because we thought everyone else was peaceful. But we were wrong. There are species out there who will hurt us if we let them. We need people like you. People who understand what we are fighting for. I am fighting for revenge. That is not noble. That is not heroic. Revenge kept you alive when grief would have killed you. Revenge gave you purpose when you had none. There is no shame in that. Tae-sung stood. Think about it. We need you. Humanity needs you. He left Dae-hyun alone with his thoughts. That night, Dae-hyun returned to the memorial hall. It was empty now. Just him and the names on the walls. Just him and Hana's memorial. I do not know if I did the right thing, he whispered to her name. I wanted justice. But maybe I just wanted to hurt them the way they hurt you. Maybe I'm no better than they are. The memorial did not answer. The dead never did. I miss you, he said. I miss you so much it hurts. I miss your laugh. I miss your terrible jokes. I miss the way you always believed the best in people, even when they did not deserve it. A single tear rolled down his cheek. Just one, the first in days. I am going to accept the position. I am going to join Earth Defense Command. Not for revenge. Not for anger. But because you wanted to help people. You wanted to make the galaxy better. And maybe I can do that. Maybe I can make sure no one else loses their sister the way I lost you. He touched the crystal memorial. It was cold and smooth under his fingers. Rest well, Hana. You are safe now. Everyone is safe now. I promise, he turned and walked away. Out of the memorial hall. Out into the corridors of Velthar 9. The station was alive with activity. Repairs were being made. Life was continuing. The galaxy was moving forward. And so would he. 3 months later, Dae-hyun stood on the bridge of the EDF Retribution. He wore the uniform of Earth Defense Command. His rank insignia showed he was now a commander. His position was Chief Tactical Officer for the Human Defense Initiative. Admiral Yi Seo stood beside him. "Are you ready?" "As ready as I can be." "Good, because we have a lot of work to do." The Gorvath are regrouping. Other species are watching to see what humanity does next. We need to show them that we are not aggressive, but we are also not weak. And if they test us, then we remind them what happened at Core 9. She smiled slightly. The galaxy learned a valuable lesson. Do not make humans cry, because when humans cry, they remember. And when humans remember, they act. And when humans act, civilizations fall on the view screen. Stars streaked past as the ship traveled at faster than light speed. Out there, somewhere in the vast darkness, were beings who might threaten humanity, who might try to hurt them, who might think humans were still weak. Those beings would learn the galaxy had changed. Humanity had changed. They were no longer the new species trying to fit in. They were no longer the weak ones to be ignored or dismissed. They were the species that had show.